Okay, guys, welcome back to the Let's Get Freaky podcast. Very excited for our guest tonight. We have got John Radtke with us. How are you, my brother? Welcome.
I am doing great, brother. I love being on here and I loved having you on the podcast. And of course, you are welcome on my podcast anytime you want, Tommy.
Oh,
Anytime.
brother, we had such a good time. It was so
Yes, it was
much
so much fun.
fun. So I would come back on any time. Absolutely any
Great.
time. Loved
Love
it.
it.
You got great energy, very positive, and we just had it was just a great conversation, man.
Yeah. Yeah,
Obviously, we,
yeah, it
we talk
was.
at both our podcasts. We talk. We get into some dark stuff sometimes. So it's
Hmm.
quite nice to, be able to do it sometimes with a smile as well. We can't always, obviously, but
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
it's nice to sometimes,
Sure.
it's just not, it's nice.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It
Mm.
is because some of this stuff is really dark. It can really
Mhm,
affect people in certain ways and negative ways. But it's kind of nice to have a little laugh at it once in a while and
mhm.
say, some of it is serious and some of it isn't.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
can't always be serious, right? It would get,
yeah.
it would get
Uh,
tough. It would get really
that's a
tough.
tough life, my friend. That is a tough life.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, for anyone that doesn't know your awesome show, Dairyland Frights Podcast, it's absolutely fantastic. As I say,
Thank
you
you.
just I had the privilege of being a guest on your show. Can you tell the listeners a little bit about your podcast if they maybe haven't heard it yet? What's it all about, man?
Well, if you haven't heard it yet, why not? You
Yeah,
got to be
where have you
listening
been?
to what are you guys doing? I mean, well, let's get freaky and then let's go to Dairyland Frights. Hey, there we go. I love it.
Absolutely, man.
So my podcast, what I like to do is I like to have a variety of people on and kind of cover different paranormal things from different points of view. And I think that's real fun to do because number one, you get different points of view from people. So, for example, I have paranormal investigators on. I've had witches on. I've had authors. I've had just I had Joe Diamond. He is a performer and he's a mentalist and a mystic, which was super fun. I'm really proud of my last show I did that just came out with Donna, the therapist, paranormal therapist. Uh, and the reason, Tommy and your friends and everyone listening, when you listen to this podcast, is that that's not taken very seriously in the therapist game, right? People seeing ghosts, being affected by a spirit or a ghost or a haunted house. Uh, you know what I mean? Therapists
Hmm.
don't take that too seriously because, again, it's still on that fringe of like, oh, I saw a UFO and it really affected me, or I was abducted and it really affected me, or I was touched by a ghost and it really affected me. And everyone just goes, well, that's just anxiety. So we're gonna lump that in into anxiety. Well, that's not really true. You know what I mean? Because when I've spoken to people who have been in a haunted house and it affected them greatly,
Hmm.
like, people don't get it. Imagine waking up at 3 a.m. and seeing a shadow person at your bed,
Hmm. Hmm.
right?
I've been there, brother.
That's right,
Yeah,
right? And it
yeah.
affects you. It
Hmm.
messes with your head, and you don't have no one to talk to mostly. Maybe a friend, maybe a family member or whatever, but she specializes in it. So she can tell you, like, this is what you need to do to get past this. This is what you need to do. How can I help? And I love that,
Yeah.
because again, it's you go to a neurotherapist. I had anxiety, I have PTSD, but there is paranormal PTSD. There
Hmm.
is, and
Hmm.
people just kind of go past it. But anyway, so we have that, and then we have some really scary stories. I make a little more fun of it because it's just kind of you start laughing at it a little bit, and everybody kind of joins in and has a great time, like me and you on the show. But there's some serious stuff. There's some things out there that we can't explain. We
Hmm.
don't know what it is. And I love having people on there. And I love having, like, for example, having a witch on there and her explaining, like, I'm not. dancing around naked around a fire covered in pig's blood. And she goes, no, 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 you get me totally wrong. I'm doing love spells for people. I'm doing like positive energy. I'm trying to help people with different spells, incantations, and different. And I'm like, oh, so you're not bathing in baby's blood in the basement with a big pentagram, and things are on fire. She's like, no, that's in the movies. Most witches do not do that. But again, she did bring up there are satanic witches who do, unfortunately, sacrifice animals. There are rumors that they've sacrificed humans. I'm not really sure on that, but maybe that's a big maybe because we don't know, right?
Hmm.
We were not there.
Hmm.
Um, so it was just to me, it was just really, really interesting to talk to a person like that. And so we have that all on the podcast, and we try to bring in different people from the different countries. So I've had the UK, I've had Netherlands on, I've had people from Germany on, I've had Australia. And I love it because we're all
Hmm.
the same, Tommy. We're all the
Absolutely.
same.
Absolutely.
We're not different. The people from Australia were like, yeah, there's some scary. Can I swear on your
Of
podcast?
course
I
you
don't know.
can. Yeah, free
Okay.
speech, brother. You can say what you
All right.
like.
Thank you. Thank you. There's some scary shit. And we were talking about it and what they're fascinated with, which I'm fascinated with foreign countries like the
Hmm.
UK. In America, we have like Gettysburg, right? I mean, that is the top, well, kind of dream, kind of bucket list for a lot of paranormal investigators, or not, or for just people to go to, because in that little space, there was death, blood, tragedy, misery, just horrible, horrible stuff happened in that little area. So guess what? Of course it's haunted. And
Hmm.
it's going to be really negative energy in that because people were not, uh, you know, not the best of terms in this war, obviously. And could see your brother being killed in front of you. You could see your father being killed in front of you. Now
Hmm.
that's got to mess with you, and it's got to mess with the energy of that area.
Hmm.
So when I've talked to people, like yourself and the lovely people from Australia, they were like, yeah, oh my God, I so want to go to Gettysburg and I so want to investigate it. I'm like, but in the UK, I'm like, oh, I so want to go to castles. I'm like, God, I want to go. I'm so because we don't have that in America per se. We do have castles, but not like your castles in the UK and the surrounding area, Scotland, Ireland.
Hmm.
We got like mansions. We have a lot of southern mansions that are haunted,
Hmm.
um, which is not a castle, but it's still scary. It's
Yeah.
still
You s
very frightening.
There's still a lot of cool haunted locations in the US. And that's the
Yeah.
cool thing, as you say, all over the world. We're all the
Yeah.
same,
We're all
firstly,
the same.
really. And we all experience the same stuff. Like we're all
Yeah.
experiencing these wild experiences. Sometimes we might call them something a little bit different, but ultimately
Right.
it's the same thing, and that's
Yeah.
what kind of blows my mind. We're all like the Hat Man is seen all over the world, for
Yes.
example. The same
Hmm.
entity.
Yeah.
Why? What is that? What are people seeing? Why is it the same? Why is it wearing a hat? I mean, there's so many questions in just the Hat Man alone.
Well,
Uh,
right.
and it's wild, man. It's a wild world that we live in. But like,
It,
and doing this, you meet incredible people, as you say, and
absolutely.
we're so similar, and we're experiencing the same stuff. And the more we share, the more we learn, and it's just great, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love it. I love that. And then, we're a weekly podcast. So I try to put out things during the week. And
Hmm.
then I try to, like I said, bring in a variety of guests and can make it fun for people to listen to and stuff. And yeah, I mean, I just enjoy doing it. And like I said, meeting people. I've gone from just talking paranormal in the office where I work, freaking people out, to now freaking people out all over the world. Because
Yeah.
I'm known as the paranormal guy in my office. Like people know that, and they'll
Hmm.
come up to me and be like, hey, John, I got a story for you. When I was like 12 years old, I saw a ghost pass through my wall and it really freaked me out. And, it's always stuck with me. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Are you all right? I mean, do you need somebody? Because I have like three or four people Oh, actually, more than that, a number of people that can come to your house, that can help you out, that could,
Mm.
go through all this stuff. And if you're traveling overseas, I got friends in the UK that I can email or call or whatever I need to do and be like, hey guys, what they're coming over here. What do you suggest them seeing in this area? Oh, here we
Mhm.
go. So
Yeah.
that's what I love too. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
it's
man.
really fun, and I love the skeptics too. I don't know about you, Tommy, but I love the
Yes,
skeptics too.
absolutely.
It,
Absolutely, I
it
do.
yeah, it challenges you, right?
Yeah.
I
Because
understand their point of view, right?
they give you that look when you tell them what we do. When you tell them about your podcast, oh, you do a podcast. What is it about? Bigfoot, paranormal, UFOs, and you get that look. But what I find so fascinating with that, and I'm sure you get this as well, is that they'll go, "Oh, I don't believe in any of that kind of stuff," but
Yeah.
then they'll tell you this wild story that they've experienced
Yeah.
themselves or someone they know in their family that they trust, and it's like, that's amazing. And I normally
Yeah.
ask
Yeah.
them to
Yeah.
come on the podcast, and they're like, not sure. Oh, no.
Yeah. Right.
Uh,
Right. Yeah. 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 There's still that kind of fear that people are going to make fun of you and call you weird or strange or whatever. Well, I people, the more you talk about it, you're going to get it out because
Absolutely.
it's in the mainstream, folks. This isn't
Hmm.
not back in the 50s or 40s or whatever, or back in the 1800s, 1700s, 1600s, where they're going to hang you because you saw a spirit or made a fire and danced around it and people got the wrong idea. No,
Yeah.
people are just going to be like, okay, well, that's
Hmm.
interesting.
Hmm. And most people have had some sort of experience themselves anyway,
Oh,
so they can relate to it
absolutely.
normally. I mean, I find people that don't believe in any of this stuff, and each to their own, by the way, and
Yeah.
I know skeptics that I've got family that are skeptics, but I find them stranger. How can they not believe in this crazy
Yeah,
world that
right.
we live in that there's not more going on? I mean, even in our mainstream news alone is strange enough, let's face it.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, like things like with UFOs or UAPs, whatever they're calling them now, where they've said, yeah, we here they are, here's some pictures,
Yeah,
and here's all this stuff. And the validation for all these people who have said there's UFOs and there's aliens and there's all these different things. Yeah, okay, pal, whatever.
yeah,
Woo, you're out there. And then now it's like, here it is.
yeah. And then they believe everything else the government says, but not that. It's
Yeah,
like, come on,
come
man,
on.
they're telling you.
I don't know. Like you said, to each his own. That's all right.
But it's
Nothing
interesting,
wrong with that.
yeah. But it's interesting what you said about the PST because I think that PTSD, because I do think there's a lot of people out there that are suffering from paranormal experiences, and it's so good and therapeutic to be able to talk or just talk about it, just to get it out of your chest to someone else that is,
Absolutely.
they're going to listen, they're going to accept it, they're going to say, yeah, okay, that might have happened, but even if,
Hmm. Hmm.
whatever their position is, it is nice to just talk about it and share,
Yeah,
you know, and
absolutely.
it helps the more people that share, the more people that come
Yeah.
out. It's
Yeah, yeah. It's like anything. Let's say you had a tragic experience when you were a kid. I
hmm
don't know what happened. Maybe you got into a car accident, and now every time it rains, you freak out a little bit because that's, what happened. It was raining and you had gotten a car accident, and now every time you get in a car and it's really raining heavily, you're like, ooh. And I know people like that where they see, or maybe got bit by a dog, and now every time you see a dog,
hmm
ooh,
Absolutely.
ooh,
Yeah.
that's scary. So
Yeah,
same
absolutely,
thing with
man.
ghosts. It's the same thing.
Yeah, well, I think I shared on your podcast that I kind of laugh about it, but I'm actually really scared of the dark. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm laughing now. It's probably a nervous thing, but when I am in the dark on my own, if the wife's not there, I have to have a light on or something, man. I can't sleep in the dark on my own,
Hmm.
and that is
Hmm.
like a form of PTSD from when I was a kid, and I saw
Right.
things, and it's carried on into my adult life. So now I'm I'm still probably as much as I joke and laugh and that's probably a bit of a protection as well, maybe as well. And the more I think about that,
Yeah.
it's interesting, man. So
Yeah. It's fascinating.
you're based in Wisconsin, a very
Correct.
spooky. I know everywhere in the world is spooky, but the spooky locations in Wisconsin, very cool place. I would love to go to what got you into the high strangeness subjects. Where does it begin for you? What made you start on this journey of the paranormal?
Yeah, so one of the things was I like to thank my mom. She has passed on, but one of the things my mom, she would encourage it. So my mom would read a lot of different subjects and stuff like that. And so she would read about ghosts and spirits, and she had this book called like haunted, I don't know, like haunts in the Midwest or something like that. And she would read it, and I remember as a little kid, I said, "Hey, mom, what are you reading?" She goes, "Oh, I'm reading about." Because she was a farmer's daughter kind of thing. She grew up on the farm, and so she saw some weird stuff there and heard some weird stuff at the farmhouse. And she just encouraged me, and we just talked about it. It was such a neat conversation for my mom to be like, "Yeah, I believe in ghosts," and so it got started there. And then kind of my first paranormal experience when I was about 11, 12 years old, we used to go to my grandma's house, and just think of a creepy farmhouse in the middle of nowhere. That was my grandma's house. I mean, just the stereotypical in your head, like that's a creepy farmhouse in the middle of nowhere, and cornfields surrounding it. Yeah. So, and it was built in the late 1800s. It had been in generation of my mom's family. And it's just, like I said, an old farmhouse. So you would go up the stairs, creak, 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 go down the stairs, creak, creak, creak. It was just creaking everywhere and making weird noises. But one day, when we were staying over there to go visit grandma and stuff, one day I had got up a little bit earlier, and I was just sitting there, just kind of hanging out, and suddenly I heard like footsteps coming down the stairs, and I thought it was one of my cousins or something. And I was like, oh, okay. And the door opens and there's no one there. And so I wait a little bit, thinking, oh, my cousins are having fun with me and I'm going to have fun with them. And I kind of sneak around and we're going to scare each other, right? And there was no one there, nobody. And then the door kind of swung closed a little bit, and then creaking up the stairs, somebody walking back up the stairs again.
Whoa.
Yeah, yeah. And it was funny. I told my mom about it, and she was like, "Oh, that makes sense. There's generations who have lived in that house, so could be one of the little girls that was there, could have been, your great great grandpa, grandma, whatever. Who knows?" My grandma didn't want any of it. She was just like, it's an old house and it's just creaks and it's just blah, blah, blah. And she was just totally telling me, oh, forget it. And I'm like, I bet my grandma's probably seen that several times, and she's just like, whatever, I don't believe in this stuff kind of attitude, like deep skeptic, because she's had to. Because you can't tell me that's just happened once to me in that house. No, come on. She had like, they had two, like this dirt kind of basement, where she kept like all her preserves and stuff like that she would do. And oh man, I would tell you, Tommy, I'd go down there. Not that I felt anything, I'm not sensitive, but I would freak out. It was just creepy. It was just like a dirt, you know, kind of messy basement. And I was like, ugh, when my mom would go, oh, hey, honey, go downstairs and pick up blah, blah, blah for dinner. I'd be like, do I have to? My mom would be like, oh, it's nothing down there. Just come on. And I would just be like, boom, 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 boom. I just running up, grabbing things, running up and downstairs. It just felt weird. I don't know if there's something down there, but it felt weird. But yeah, so that kind of got me into it. And then through the years, I was the weird kid at school reading books on UFOs, ghosts. I'd do reports on them, and
I
people
would
would
say you
like
were the
look at
cool
me.
kid. I would say you was the
See,
cool
that's what
kid.
I'm
In
saying.
my
I
world, you're
was
the
the
cool
cool
kid.
kid.
Yeah.
And so we would do that, and then throughout the years, I would go on ghost tours. I would every time I hear like a ghost story or something, or you read something in the paper or whatever. Like they're, this place is haunted. I'd be, oh man, I really want to go to there. And then eventually I was, like I said, when I'd be at work, people would know I was the paranormal guy. So they would come to me and tell me stories or ask me questions like, why did you get into it? And I'd tell them. And then eventually, then I went on a number of ghost tours. Every chance I get, I go on a ghost tour at any city that I'm in on business or travel. And then eventually, someone said to me, "You should do a podcast. You seem like you have a love and passion for this. I think that might be fun." So I did. I started Dairyland Frights because I was like, "Hey, this is something." And originally, I had two of my former coworkers with me, and we did it at first for about 20 episodes, and then they decided it's just too much. And I get it; it takes a lot of work, and you got to put things into it. So they decided to leave, but they come on from time to time and tell their stories, and we kind of do fun stuff together. But yeah, that's kind of how I started, and then I just try to relate some of my stories. I don't have a lot as many people do, but I have some fun ones that I can always
Hmm.
relate on the show.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So that
Yeah.
moment at your grandma's where you heard something coming down the stairs, the
Hmm.
door opened. I mean, that's wild that it shut again and then went back up.
Yeah.
That's wild. I mean,
Yeah.
for that moment there, was that like sort of the light bulb in your mind that this stuff is real? Was that like
Yes.
when the door opened, this is real, man? That was the
Yes.
people have that moment that it's like this is not in my mind. This is a real experience. What is that?
Yeah, yeah, it definitely because I've had dreams, like everyone has dreams or nightmares about ghosts or spirits, right?
Hmm.
But I was wide awake. I was not dreaming, I was just kind of sitting there and just having that experience. I wasn't scared. It was more like a validation of like, yep,
Hmm.
this
Hmm.
stuff is real.
Yeah.
There's things out there you can't explain, and this is one of them. And it was really a moving experience for me that I tell people. I never felt scared. I never felt threatened. I just felt like, oh, there's something in here. There's something that, a lot of it what they call residual haunting,
Hmm.
where people they got up, some people will talk about haunted houses where like every time it's 6 a.m. I can hear footsteps down the stairs and I'm, at my house and I'm like, well, that's probably because that person, when they were alive, was probably get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go downstairs to, I don't know, get ready for school or work or just, watch TV or whatever they're doing. So that was just interesting to me because
Hmm.
we forget that ghosts were like us. They were
Hmm.
alive. They were real people. And now, for whatever reason, they're stuck. And I don't know what that is. A lot of people have speculated, but I just find that fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Do you know if your mum saw anything in that house or?
She would from time to time say she felt watched, but again, it wasn't anything negative or anything. She's felt like almost like, what are you doing in my house? Kind of attitude. Like, what are you doing in my bed? Kind of, because my grandma, she didn't change anything. She had the bed from like, I don't know how old that bed was. It was old. Like, grandma, get a new bed. But she wasn't one of those people. She grew up in an era where you use stuff until it can't use it anymore.
Yeah. It's quite a good thing, really. We
Oh,
throw away
yeah.
things all the time now, and
Oh,
it's like
yeah, I
things
know.
that don't need to be thrown as well. We do that a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's quite a good
exactly.
way to be. We need to go back.
Yeah, I hear you.
Mhm. So when you was a kid growing up, did you see anything? Was there ever any other experiences that kind of stand out, or was that like the big moment that was sort of?
Yeah, so I would see I remember one time I was out having, just kind of goofing around at night and stuff, and I think I saw a shadow person. Now, I didn't know at that time it was a shadow person, but it seemed like there was something right to the side of me, looked like a person. And sometimes, my buddies would kind of goof around. We'd chase each other around the neighborhood and scare each other. But it wasn't that. And then as soon as I moved toward it, it moved and I thought it was my buddy. I'm like, I'm gonna get you. and I had a woods near my house, and I was, chasing who I thought was my buddy. And as soon as they entered the woods, you should hear crunch, 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 smash, smash, smash. They're stepping on leaves, they're busting through the forest. Nothing, nothing. And
Whoa.
yeah, and that was weird because, again, I was a teenager at that time. And like I said, me and my buddies, we lived around in the same neighborhood. So we would all, in the woods, we would goof around in there. And when we were little kids and when we were adults, we would just goof around in there and play paintball or something. We were just weird. Uh, yeah. So I told my friends that, and we would go out then at night and see if we could see that again. And we never did. So I don't know what that was. I just
Whoa.
don't know. Yeah.
And that was like the shape of a man, would you say? Or
Yes, it was a shape of like a young man, so that's why I thought it was my buddy. I
yeah.
thought it was my buddy creeping up on me and gonna scare me. And then, like I said, when I chased it and went into the woods, it disappeared, no noise, no nothing.
Whoa, that's wild,
Yeah.
man. So you
Yeah,
saw
that
this
was
thing right running away from you.
yeah, running away from me when I was chasing it, because I was yelling, hey, my buddy Kurt. I said, "Hey Kurt, I see you. I'm gonna get you," and I'm running after him. And yeah, nothing.
Whoa. Did you run
Yeah.
into the woods? Like follow it into the woods?
No, I got. So I'm a chicken too. As soon as I heard nothing, like as soon as I hit the edge of the woods and heard no crunching of leaves or breaking of branches or anything, I stopped because
Yeah.
I was like, okay, whatever that is, it's not my friend, and I'm not going in there.
I don't blame you, man. I wouldn't have done
Yeah,
either. I mean,
no.
I'm not saying this is what it was, but I've talked to people that have seen like Native American spirits in like the
Mm,
forests of the US, and I did an episode where these guys would like chase these shadow figures through the forest. So when you and they think that they were Native American spirits. So when you
mm.
said that, it took me back to that. But I mean,
Yeah,
there's so
could
many
be.
things that could be. There's so many
Oh,
things
so
that
many things.
that's wild.
Right. Yeah, it was wild.
It's interesting you say when you didn't know about shadow figures at that time.
Yes.
Because when I think I told you on when I was on your podcast that I woke up one night and saw the shape of a man standing over my bed,
Right.
and I thought it was my brother, and I tried
Yeah.
to punch him because it scared me, and I kind of gone through whatever this thing was, and my
Yeah.
brother was on the other side of the room, woke up, and was like,
Yeah.
"Bro, what's going on? Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I thought you were
Yeah.
standing above me," but I didn't really know. Obviously, ghosts, and I've always been scared of ghosts and stuff, but the
Sure.
term shadow figure wasn't in my dictionary at that time. It was
Oh.
something that I found out later on, and I was like, "Do you know what? I've seen that darker than the dark in
Hmm.
how people describe it. It's literally darker than the dark of the room. You
Yes.
see that shape.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. 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 Like I said, I mean, at that time, I didn't know what that
Yeah,
was,
yeah,
but now I do, and I'm like, hey, that was a shadow figure.
yeah. Absolutely, man. Have you seen anything else like that? Any other
No,
experiences?
no, but I have a fun. I was going to share it when we were on the podcast together. But I have a fun story for you that I've only told a few times, so no one's. I don't think no one's going to get sick of this. So, when I was younger, me and my buddy, we he moved to South Carolina, and he's in the paranormal too. So we decided I went down to visit him, and he goes, "Oh, hey, there's this paranormal tour, and it's at this farm, and let's go to it." Yeah, hey man, that sounds like a great time. Let's do that. So we went to this, and long story short, the what happened was there was a man. His name was John,
Great
and
name.
he and he supposedly fell in love. Well, the witch fell in love with him, and he was a married man with kids, and he didn't want anything to do it. Now, he didn't know she was a witch. Okay, this is from the 1800s and everything. So, okay, but she was in love with him. according to the guide, and she would come around and, try to, get him to love her and, stalking, basically what we would call it today. So anyway, what happened was he just eventually said, enough, go away. You're ruining my life. You got to stop. Well, what happened was she didn't take it very well and she hung herself in the barn. So he had come, according, to this guide, he basically opened the barn one morning and there she was hanging from the rafters. But before she died, what they think would happen is she issued a curse to him and his family. Because what happened was his crops would not come in anymore. His animals started dying. His kids died. His wife died. He got really, really sick and then eventually passed. And she says in this farm, people who own it now say, they feel her presence. This woman, her name is Sarah, and they can't plant crops in certain areas. Like there's certain parts of the field it will not grow, and they're like, oh, that's weird. And they brought experts in, like, why is this not growing? It grows here, it grows, doesn't grow there. Also in the house, they've heard footsteps, they've heard voices of a young woman sobbing. It's just, they've seen little kids running around. They've seen John like working parts of the farm. And, but they do say in the barn at certain times, they feel like a heavy weight, like there's something going on. So, anyway, we went on the tour, and when we went in the barn, this is great. I'll say I was young. Okay, so what I'm about to say, a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, you're a monster. You're terrible. What a dirty guy." So I was in my 20s. I wasn't married yet. Like, okay, so they showed us pictures of what this family looked like. Sarah wasn't bad. She was all right. She's pretty cute. When my wife listens to this, she'll be like, she's heard this story before. She'll be like, yeah, 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 yeah. What a dork. So anyway, so we go in there, me and my buddy, and the guide says she's sensitive, and she says, okay, now listen, people. When we go into the barn, sometimes Sarah, if she doesn't like you, she will push you. Women, she'll pull your hair. People have walked out with bruises. People have walked out with scratches. So if that happens, basically you had to sign a waiver, which I thought was even more funny when we were doing that. We were just having a blast. Like, really? We're signing a waiver? Okay. But anyway, so she said, if you feel nauseous, if you just please walk out of the barn. I will take a look at you. If you need medical assistance, we will get that for you. Don't worry. You'll be fine. So we walk into the barn, and she said, oh, by the way, Sarah sometimes likes to flirt. And as soon as she says like the flirt, me and my buddy turned to each other like, yeah, flirt, baby, let's go. Hey, see what it feels like. And we're saying all this like, she got a nice body, we're saying all this stuff. It's really stupid, right? Really
It's
derogatory
what
and
guys do.
sexist.
It's what guys do.
Come
Yeah,
on.
yeah, we do
We're
it.
20s,
Yeah.
right? Come on. Anyway, so we go in there and we're standing there, and all of a sudden she goes, hello, Sarah. We're here. We don't mean to frighten you or to be in here. We're here all friendly, and we just want to say hi and look around the barn, and then we will leave. So she's being really nice and everything like that. And she's talking, well, this is where she hung her, and this is where la da da, and all this stuff. Animals died, and okay, great. And then all of a sudden, she goes, oh, Sarah's here. And we're all looking around, like, where? And she's like, she's right there. And she was right in front of the group. And so she's saying, hi, Sarah. how are you? And, this is the group. Again, if you want us to leave, we will leave. No problem. So all of a sudden, she looks at me and she goes, "Excuse me, sir. Uh, you're going to be okay, but Sarah is in front of you right now."
Oh,
So she said, so where I was standing, I guess Sarah was like right here. She said, don't worry. Sarah won't do anything to you. At least we're pretty sure she won't do anything. I go, pretty sure. And we were laughing, I was like, well, if Sarah wants, climb this mountain, that's okay, stupid stuff like that, right? And so all of a sudden, she's like, Sarah, no, Sarah, stop. And I'm like, and I felt something like a kind of a chill right here on my shoulder. And she goes, Sarah, you need to stop, stop. And she goes, the guide goes, I'm very sorry, sir, but Sarah is touching you right now. She seems to like you. She does that. She likes to flirt, as I said. And I was like, okay, okay. She goes, don't worry about it. You'll be fine. And she eventually goes, Sarah, you need to stop right now. She goes, Sarah's touching your face. Sarah is touching your body. And I'm like, oh. And my buddy's like, we were having a little fun. And so then she goes, okay, Sarah, that's enough. You need to stop. Okay. And people are like looking around and we walk out of the barn and everything. And the guy comes up to me and she goes, are you okay? You're fine. I said, oh yeah, it was fun. I love it. It's great. So she goes, well, if anything happens, let me know. And I go, what do you mean anything happens? And she goes, well, there's been some things that kind of happen, certain marks, certain other things that happen. I'm like, okay, all right. So I get home and I'm getting ready for bed and I'm changing. And there's this weird mark on my shoulder. Okay. Just very strange mark. And I showed it to my buddy, and he's like, "Oh man, freaking bugs! You must have got bit by a weird bug in that stupid barn." Yeah, probably did. Yeah. He goes, "Does it itch? Does it hurt?" And I'm like, "No, no, no, I'm okay." So anyway, didn't think anything of it. I come back home and everything, and you're sitting there, and a couple weeks later, it's still there. And my mom goes, she looks at it, she goes, "Yeah, I don't know what that is. Probably a rash or something. Go to the doctor, and they'll give you some cream. You'll be fine." So I go to the doctor. The doctor looks at it and he goes, huh, I don't know what that is. I'm not really sure what that is. It's a weird mark. Where were you? What were you doing that you got this mark? And I told him. And I think it's the ghost. The ghost gave me the mark. Her name was Sarah. And like he kind of laughed and he went, okay, yeah, all right. So anyway, this mark would not go away. And it's actually still there. You can barely, barely, barely see it.
no way.
My wife has seen it. My girlfriends have seen it. uh, my friends have seen it. It only shows up right now when it's really, really cold,
Hmm.
and it's a symbol. Now, here's the thing. I called some of my friends who are mediums, and I have some witch friends, and or Wiccan, whatever you want to say. And they did a little research on it and everything. And they came back to me and they went, "Hey, John, so I got some good news for you." And I'm like, oh, okay. So what's the good news? And they said, well, you are blessed. And I'm like, well, I said, well, yeah, of course I'm blessed. She goes, no, 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 you don't understand. Sarah blessed you. She must not have been an evil witch. That symbol you have on your shoulder protects you from evil. So evil cannot touch you. And I'm like, really? And they showed me the symbol and they went through it. And I said, well, why would she do it to me? And she goes, oh, maybe, she liked you. Maybe she was trying to, she felt bad what she did in the real life and she was, going through that. So anyway, I'm like, okay, all right, great. So anyway, I call the guide back and stuff and I send her a picture of my shoulder and she goes, oh, yeah, yeah, that's right. You're blessed. She goes, I've had that happen only a couple other times to a couple other gentlemen and everything like that. And I went, oh, okay. Now, here's the thing. I've been in situations when I've been on ghost tours, okay, or in haunted houses and stuff like that. I've never felt, Tommy, like something can touch me. It feels like I have a almost like a force field around me
Hmm.
because I was in Savannah, and one of the things, Savannah in America is considered one of the haunted cities in the world. Like everything's haunted in Savannah. It's crazy. So when I was walking past this cemetery, this haunted cemetery where things happen in this cemetery all the time. When I was getting near the gates, I was by myself. They would not let you on this tour in the cemetery. I don't know if they still do it today. And the reason why is because everyone that's been in that cemetery, either something bad has happened to them once they leave, they've been scratched, they've been pushed, they've been bruised, they've seen numerous spirits, they have gone home and have shadow people in their house, nothing good comes of it. So the guide is like, we do not go in this anymore. We have to go in and bless it every so often, and it hasn't been done, whatever. So when I was walking home from the ghost tour, I was walking past the cemetery because it's right in the middle of Savannah, square right in the middle of downtown, kind of in the UK and certain cities where you might have cemeteries just smack dab right
Hmm.
there.
Hmm.
And it's an older cemetery, from settler days from 16, 17, 18, so on and so forth. So when I was walking past, I felt like somebody was watching me. And when I got near the iron railings and stuff to kind of look in, I felt like something was trying to grab me or trying to pull me in and couldn't. And have felt that way other times when I've
Whoa.
been in haunted houses where they said, well, this is a room where somebody was murdered, or this is a room where somebody died, or this is a room where whatever, right? And I've always felt that way, and I've always felt protected. So that's a fun story I tell people. Everybody always wants to see the symbol, and I'm like, I would love to show it to you. I'll try to take a picture of it again. What's the weird thing is I've tried to take pictures of it to show people, and it doesn't show up on camera. Yet my wife, she will tell you, uh, yeah, she'll see it when I'm sometimes when it's really cold, I'm getting ready for bed and changing. She'll
Hmm.
see it and she'll be like, "Oh, that stupid symbol's still there." I said, "Don't call it stupid. It's
That's
out there."
protection. That's protection.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's crazy, And like I said, when I've talked to other witches too, which is really funny, I've said, "Do I need to get this thing recharged or something?" And they always start laughing and they're like, "No, John, it will be with you, probably long after you die, and it's with
Wow,
you forever.
man.
It's not going away." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Ah, cool. That's really neat." Yeah. So it's a real fun story, and I just, like I said, it's bizarre that she chose me. A lot of people say that maybe I looked or had the same, I don't know, demeanor as the man she fell in love with and tried to have an affair with.
Hmm.
Could be. I've heard that from mystics and mediums and people I've had on my show. I've asked them, and they're like, "Yeah, probably you reminded her of her long lost love somehow."
Wow, man.
Yeah, yeah,
That's wild. That's wild that you felt it there in the moment as well. You kind of felt it
yeah,
happening.
yeah.
Whoa. And you say that just felt like a cold, did you say heat
It felt like a cold compress. You know how sometimes like you hurt your shoulder, you may grab a little bag of ice and you put it on there. That's what it felt like. And it
interesting?
was weird because it was summer when we were doing this tour, and so in South Carolina, it gets really humid. So I was just like, was there a breeze? What's going on here? Kind of at first, because it's again not that I don't believe in the paranormal. It was just that it was like, did I know this lady? Obviously not. Is she putting on a show? Could be, right? Hey, we pay money for this. It's entertainment. I get it. But
That's
yeah, it felt
wild.
weird. Yeah, yeah, and it's
Whoa. And to
pretty
this
cool
day, it's seen.
to this
Yeah.
day. Yeah.
Whoa. Is it like detail on it? I know you can't get it out. Is
Yes,
it?
is a symbol. I should draw it sometime. I always forget to do that. I have it somewhere where I drew it when I drew it to show the my Wiccan witch friends and mediums. I drew it, and like I said, they have a compendium where they found it in, and yeah, I should do that. I always forget doing that. It's weird because I don't bring it up a lot because I
Hmm.
kind of like, not that I'm not embarrassed or oh you're weird or whatever. No, I just it kind of feels like it's mine and it's like a secret. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But when
yeah.
I brought it up, it's nothing bad happens to me when I bring it up. It's just it seems like Sarah, like this is our secret. So try to keep it secret if you can.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so I'm like, oh, okay, I kind of get that.
Man.
Now, funny thing is, I've gone back to South Carolina many times. I really like South Carolina. I've been there on business. Unfortunately, the area where the barn and stuff were has been torn down, and they have
No.
yeah, they have condos and stuff there now. Because I was driving past it, and I was looking up, and I called the lady too, and she told me, "Oh no, I don't do that anymore." And because we became friends after this, and I
Hmm.
called her, and because I was in town to have dinner, and I was gonna have dinner with her, and she was like, "No, John, I'm sorry." I'm like, "Do you think Sarah?" We were over dinner, and we go, "Do you think Sarah's in that condo, like
Yeah.
running
Yeah.
around in that condo?" And she's like,
Yeah.
"Could be." She goes, I don't know. I can't be. I said, we should like try to just knock on a door and just be like, can we just
Yeah.
come in and do an investigation?
Yeah. That would be interesting to know, if they do
Yeah,
experience anything strange.
yeah,
Whoa. I hate it when historic places like that get knocked down. And I know it
mm,
obviously has to happen in some situations, but
yeah.
it's not nice, man. I would like to
No,
preserve
it
these
isn't.
places, man.
Yeah, yeah, and it was a really nice farm, and it was a really nice area, and I don't know if there was history to it. Probably not. That's why they knocked it down, but they do it anyway. It has history.
Yeah.
But I was just Tommy, I was just fascinated by like, I wonder if Sarah is still there,
Yeah.
where they built the condos, where the barn is, because obviously she's not going anywhere. She's probably trapped there.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, maybe like apartment 4B or something.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
they put
I mean,
this
I'm sure you could work
ghost
out
running
the
around.
actual part where the barn
Yeah, I'm
stood, and
sure. Yeah, yeah,
oh, that would be interesting, man. That would be
yeah. I
interesting.
would love that.
Get another mark. Was your buddy that
Yes,
was with? Was that? Why did she mark me, man?
yeah,
Was
that's what he said too. He said, "What's wrong with me?" We were laughing about it. He said, "What's wrong with me?" And I said, "Look at you. That's what's wrong with you." And he's like, "Ah, shut up." Yeah. Yeah,
He's
he said
wild
he
though,
didn't
man.
yeah, he said he didn't really feel anything. He didn't really because he looked over at me when they said, "Oh, Sarah's touching you and she's touching your face and she's touching your shoulders and arms." uh he was looking at me, watching me, and I wasn't like going, whoa, oh, that feels weird or something like that. I was just kind of going, standing there like, okay, should I move? What should I do?
Yeah,
um yeah, so he was pretty funny. He was like saying like that was funny. That was a good
yeah,
time.
man. I mean, you've kind of you sort of we sort of spoke about it before, but what do you think spirits are, entities are? Do you think there's a mixture of things going on? What do you think Sarah is? Do you think she's just trapped in that area, but she's still like kind of aware of what's going on around her? Do you think she's like a trapped energy? What are your thoughts on? I know that's a
Yeah,
difficult question because it's very open.
yeah, yeah. I think it's that sorrow seems to be a big, um, I don't know, marker for ghosts. Just being sad.
Hmm.
Because I've heard numerous stories from numerous guests where they're like, "Well, this person died in this bed, or this person, would died in this chair, and they lived in this house for 50 years or whatever." So I think it's, and if you've heard about stone tape theory, that's something is very, very fast. I think that's what it is. I think a part of us, once we're in such an area and our energy just goes into this object
Hmm.
or area, dealing with, I think, if sadness, something extreme like sorrow, like deep, deep sorrow, or a deep, deep, like almost stubbornness to a
Hmm.
fact. You know what I mean? Like, this is mine. Because I talked to some people and they said, like, even apartments, like, we don't think apartments are haunted. We just think houses. No, apartments everywhere can be haunted. It doesn't matter. Office buildings.
Hmm.
Uh, and this woman said that this man had lived in this apartment for like 40 years and he died here and everything. So when she moved in and started to move her furniture in and do other things, she would always wake up in the morning and see the furniture move. And at first she was like, "Did I do that? Am I tired?" And I just got up in the middle of the night, was moving my furniture. And it just kept happening. And then also she would feel like when she's in the shower, like somebody watching her. And people, her friends would come over, they would be sleeping on the couch or something, and they'll be like, I, I swear to God that someone's sitting in that chair, and I thought it was you. And then I woke up and there was nobody there. And I was like, okay, is this a dream? So anyway, she brings a medium in, and the medium comes in and goes, okay, it's his name is like Harold or something like that, and he's still in this house, and he does still in this apartment, and he doesn't like that you're in here and messing with his stuff and putting things around. So I thought that was like, oh, that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, he had lived there. He probably would go to work, come home because he was, they, according to the medium, she said she didn't have kids or family or friends. So that's all he did. Come home from work, sit in front of the TV, telly,
Hmm.
hang out. That's all he did, right? If you do that for 40 years, that's all you do. There's that energy just going to like shoot, sink into that area
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
just be like, this is what I do. And she told me too, he didn't know any better. He thinks he's still alive. He still thinks this is his.
Hmm.
So eventually she did some different things and he got him to go into the light or whatever you want to say. And then after that, this woman told me, she goes, then it was no problem. She goes, everything was good. So again, that's what I think it is. I think it's an energy that is negative or positive. It doesn't always have to be negative.
Hmm.
That something happened that was tragic on one scale. I don't think it's something if you lived it, again, what's weird to me though, this is where I doesn't make sense. I've spoken to people who said, I moved into my brand new house, brand new, and there's shadow people in here. And
Hmm.
I'm like, well, how's that possible? Because you think like, well, wait a minute, it's not from the 1800s or 1400s or 1500s or whatever. This house is generation and all this energy. This is brand new. This
Hmm.
is, why are there shadow people in there? And that's one thing that doesn't make sense to me, Tommy. Why, if
Hmm.
something is brand new, brand new appliances, brand new car, brand new everything,
Hmm.
and there's ghosts in there?
Yeah.
Like, where it's built in an area where it's, I don't know, maybe there was something there,
Hmm.
in that area, but most of the time, at least where people build here, it's just a former cornfield. Like there was corn there. Now,
Hmm.
I don't know, maybe in that cornfield somebody died, maybe there was a Native American burial ground, maybe there was whatever.
Hmm.
But if they found that, you have to, at least in the state of Wisconsin, you have to stop. So if you're building and you come across like a Native American burial ground, you have to immediately stop, call in the archaeologists. They come in, take care of things. Also, they'll have, believe it or not, which I think is kind of funny, but it's cool. They'll bring in shamans from the tribe and they'll
Hmm.
bless the area and make their spirits move on. And then you can start construction. And I'm like, so people don't believe in this, yet you're having shamans coming out, you're having archaeologists coming out to make sure everything's done correctly and by
Hmm.
the book, and you're not offending anyone, and you're not causing issues with the tribes. And then, like, do I believe in ghosts? No. I'm like,
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Most people like believe in the supernatural, even if they don't want to admit that.
yeah,
That they must do.
absolutely,
Because why would people do that? I mean,
yeah,
what you were saying about shadow figures. Why can they turn up in a new house and stuff? This is just
yeah,
a theory, but maybe they are something other than what we perceive a conventional ghost to be. Maybe they're a
Yeah.
completely different thing, living
Yeah.
in another realm. I know I'm just throwing a theory out there, but maybe.
Ye-
And they're,
yeah.
'cause shadow figures are very seem very. I don't know what shadow figures are, but they're
I
never.
don't know
It's
either.
never normally a good thing to see a shadow figure. I'm not
No.
spoke to many people that go, "Oh, I wake up and there's a shadow figure and it's great." You know,
Yes.
it's
We
not
have a
normally
laugh.
good. Yeah, we high five and I go back
We
to
have
sleep.
five, we have some breakfast. It's great.
It's never normally a good experience. I'm not saying for
No.
everyone. Some people might have good experiences with shadow figures, Hatman,
Yeah.
but you don't generally hear that. It's normally a
So
negative feeling. They're there, they're watching. Why are they watching? What are they trying to get from you? It seems like a spiritual attack in a way sometimes. What is it, man? Maybe it is
I
something different.
I don't know. So what here's the other thing that I think is really interesting is the Hat Man,
Mm,
right? Why is the Hat Man universally seen and given the same descriptions, whether you're in the UK, Australia, Germany, Canada, United States, Mexico? It's
hmm.
always the same. There's no difference. But what do you think about that? Why do you think that's such a universal figure? That's
Yeah.
weird.
I find that very interesting, the Hat Man, because
Yeah,
as you
right.
say, so many people all around the world see the Hat Man. I spoke to someone from Finland that saw the Hat Man. You know, they're everywhere. It's everywhere. And the question is it the same entity that we're seeing, or is it a type of entity? And it looks like a hat, and we perceive it as a hat, but maybe it's not a hat. Maybe that's like the shape of whatever its head. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't
But
know.
you're right. So many people see this thing universally all around the world. There's got to be something to that, man. You know, and
It has to be.
it's very interesting as well when like you speak to people that don't maybe look into these subjects, and they'll describe a hat man to you, and you're like, that sounds like a hat man, you know, and they're
Exactly.
like, yeah, it was like a shadow figure with a hat, you know. So it happens so often. I'm
Right. Yeah. I mean, but you know what's weird about it is people are scared of it, obviously, but
hmm
I've never heard, unless it's a made up story, people just trying to get clicks and whatever,
hmm
have been attacked. It's just they feel, at least people I've spoken to, it's they feel dread,
hmm
they feel fear, and they want to leave, they want to get out of there.
hmm
One of my favorite stories about the Hat Man, I'm a Green Bay Packers fan, by the way.
Ooh.
Uh, gotcha, Tommy. But anyway, so Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if
hmm
you know him.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So Aaron
I'm
Rodgers,
actually I'm a sorry, I'm a Minnesota Vikings slash New England Patriots fan. I love both them teams. I know you
okay.
shouldn't have two
Well,
teams, but that's just the way it is.
well,
And
now I got to get off this
I'm
show.
sorry, man. I knew as
I'm
soon as you
leaving.
said Green Bay, I knew
I'm
you
leaving.
probably were a
I'm
Green Bay
leaving.
fan.
I'm leaving. I'm leaving. No, but
I
anyway,
do love
so
Aaron
Aaron
Rodgers, gotta say.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so here's a great story from Aaron. This is why I love Aaron Rodgers. Not only is he a great player because he's out there, man. He believes in all the stuff
Oh yeah.
we believe it. He believes in the paranormal, believes in UFOs and all that stuff.
hmm
He's talked on the subject many, many times. Anyway, he saw the Hat Man in the Green Bay locker room. And so there's this great story you can look up. You can Google it. He said one night he, was after practice, he was kind of there, kind of late looking at, game film and stuff, and he's getting ready. And then he said, in the corner of the locker room was the Hat Man, and it was carrying a dead rabbit. And the light started flickering, he said, and then it started to go, the light started dimming, and he said, I'm out of here. And he ran out, got in his car, just got out of there. You can read the story, you can look it up, just say Aaron Rodgers sees Hat Man. And it's just fascinating. And
That
he
is.
talked about it and he said, I know people are very, suspect about it. Now, Aaron Rodgers has taken what they call ayahuasca.
hmm
So when you take this ayahuasca, it opens your mind to different things. You do hallucinate and stuff. But here's my thing. Other people like ayahuasca, you cannot take like just sit down and have a laugh and take ayahuasca and watch TV. No, you need somebody there because it's a very potent drug.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it's a mind bending, mind altering drug that, if not administered correctly, could cause a lot of problems. So please don't
Hmm.
do that out there, folks,
Yeah,
unless you
absolutely.
don't have an expert with you. But if here's the thing, all these stories, no one's using ayahuasca. No one that, let's say you smoke a little weed or something. Okay, there's millions of people out there smoke weed, and I've seen Hat Mans. There's
Hmm.
millions of people out there have maybe taken certain mushrooms or whatever they take, right? And
Hmm.
that's to your own devices, all right? As long as you play it safe and it helps you, great. Hopefully you don't get addicted. But anyway, uh, and then it's just normal people like you and me. Like we come home one night and I don't know, you're a little tired, and you see the Hat Man. So that's where my explanation, where I'm like, when people say, "Well, they're on drugs, they were on something, why they saw this?" Well, that's not true, because there's numerous stories out there where people, which one thing I've heard too is sometimes he's seen during the day. There's a
Hmm.
story about a young woman that was in her neighborhood, and she was walking down the street, and right in front of her appeared the Hat Man. And she said again, she felt scared. She felt, dread. She felt a heaviness, and then it went away. But she said, I was just taking a walk on a
Hmm.
summer's day. There was nothing going on. I wasn't thinking about it. And that's where I'm like, huh, how does that work?
Yeah,
Right? Yeah, I
absolutely.
don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I spoke to a lady that saw the Hat Man when she was a kid in the classroom, in the school classroom during the
Really?
day. I believe there was other students in the class. The teacher was teaching, and she saw the Hat Man in the room. Like it just
Wow.
appeared. Yeah. So these things it's seen, during the night, during the day, all different
Yeah.
places. I mean,
Right.
it's quite wild that so many people experience the same thing. What I like about Aaron Rodgers, going back to it, is he's not afraid to share these experiences
Correct.
and opinions. Whatever
Yeah.
you think of Aaron Rodgers, I think he's great, great quarterback, great player. I wouldn't mind him signing for the Minnesota Vikings if he's got one more year in him next year. Sorry, man,
No.
be quite controversial. But he's not afraid to say his truth, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
He has seen UFOs. He said he has seen that. He's
yes,
seen the Hat Man. He
yeah,
has seen Ghost.
hmm,
And he just comes out and says it. When people kind of question him, he's like, "Well,
yeah,
how do you
yeah,
know it's not real?"
yeah.
And we know UFOs are real.
Hmm.
Government has come out and showed us it's
Hmm.
real,
Yeah,
and they've
absolutely.
lied to us saying that, oh, we didn't do anything. Oh yeah, we did. We spent like millions of dollars on trying to study them, and come on,
Mm.
like
Yeah.
So again, interesting.
Have you seen any UFOs?
Oh, so I'll have to go back to my social media. So I think I saw one. I think I've seen two in my life. Okay. So I live in a kind of a rural area in Wisconsin, and a lot of forest around me and stuff. And it's not in the middle of nowhere, but it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. So one time I was driving home, and I saw this object in the sky, and had a bunch of lights, and it was just kind of making some weird, like, going back and forth. At first, I'm like, why is someone with a drone in the middle of nowhere driving this around? So I was like, oh, I gotta see. Maybe some dude screwing around with a drone. I want to see if he crashes it. So I pull over, and I'm watching it, and it's just making, I don't hear anything, because from a drone it makes a lot of damn noise.
Hmm.
And it's just really silent, and it's just kind of moving back and forth, and just kind of, I'm like, huh, well, it's not a helicopter. It's definitely not a plane. And this other guy pulls up, and, he gets out of his car, and he goes, I just saw this thing too. Do you know what it is? I said, I think it's a drone. He goes, no, it's not a drone, man. And I said, well, it's not a helicopter. He's like, no. And we stood there for like 20 minutes watching this thing, and it just hovered. And there's a lot of blinking lights, and it, didn't hear nothing. And then we're just kind of standing there, and we're like, well, what do we do? And the guy goes, I don't know. Should we call somebody? And we're like, I don't know. Who do we call? And so anyway, we were just like, well, all right. And I got out my camera phone, my, well, got out my, you know, iPhone, and I took a picture of it. And I put it up on my website, and it's really weird because it's like this cylindrical green object, and it's on Instagram. I put it on there, and I said to people, "What do you think this is? Does anybody know?" And I've got comments. Yeah, I don't know what that is. And I've interviewed some people who are have been abducted in good ways and bad ways, mostly
Hmm.
bad ways, unfortunately, and you have too. Uh, and they were like, "Yeah, I don't know what that is." So I'm saying it's a UFO. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
And then I saw one last summer near my house. I didn't get a really good picture of it. It just was blurry because I was going out my bedroom window when I saw it. And I said to my wife, because again, it was just kind of sitting there. It wasn't moving. And it was far off in the distance, probably like, I don't know, over a mile away. And I had my wife, I said, honey, do you know what that is? And she's like, yeah, I don't know what that is either. And I tried to take pictures of it, and it didn't turn out too great. But again, I didn't know what that was. And I'm like, I don't live near any bases. I don't live near anything sensitive, government wise or military wise.
Hmm.
So for it to be like this, I'm like, interesting. So yeah, it was
Yeah,
pretty cool.
man. Yeah. Do you know roughly how big they were? I know that's difficult with things in the sky.
Oh, probably the good size of a big jet,
Hmm.
basically.
Hmm.
Yeah, about that size. It wasn't like a mothership where it's like this
Hmm.
huge thing you see on the movies, like Independence Day or something. It's about
Yeah.
the size of a good sized jet plane. Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting, man. What do you think UFOs are? I know that, and I know that again, like the ghost question, that's very open. Do you think there's a number of things going on there as well?
I do. Now, I've spoken to people like yourself, and they have told me who have had contact with aliens. And again, believe what you want to believe. Um, that some are here to help us. Like we're screwing up the planet, and they've said you're screwing up the planet, and if you keep doing this, we're gonna take over and kick you guys out, basically. And they're trying to be peaceful, and they're trying to show us, like, look at all the terrible things you're doing. Okay, right? Um, so I think it is. I think here's my two theories. One, I do think it's from other planets because there's life on other planets. There has to be. There's galaxies all over. I mean, give me a break. All right. The other thing, I think it's us. I think I've heard theories about us coming back in
Hmm.
time to warn us about what we're doing to this planet and trying to help us that we will not do the same thing again, whatever
Hmm.
that means, right? So it's kind of two different things, I have with it. It's coming back in different forms, saying, stop screwing it up. And then other alien races coming here and saying again, hey, guys, stop it. You
Yeah.
guys got to help. Now, on the flip side, I've heard, the aliens coming here and they look at us like insects and they just want to squash us basically. So yeah, so that's why they've been like one of my abductees. She said she was unfortunately molested. They did terrible things to her that she doesn't really like to get into, and it happened night after night for over a month, where she was taken to the ship and they, you know, did things that were unspeakable, right? Um, and she thinks it's because they were trying to impregnate her. I've heard stories like that. Yeah, human alien hybrids. According to some people, there are. So that's what I think too. Also, they're seeing if they can marry us human bodies with their alien bodies to see maybe for bad things, maybe for good things. So again, that's kind of how I feel about it. I think it's really interesting. What made me laugh the most is when they came out with all these like the Tic Tac file and all these from Navy pilots, right? And they showed it. How did the public react? Pretty much a okay. Like
Yeah.
nobody freaked out.
Yeah.
Nobody went running to the middle of
Mm-hmm.
town square and
Mm-hmm.
started shooting. Like
Yeah.
that's what I think the government feared. Like everyone would come and just be like, start shooting up the place, start, it's anarchy.
Mm.
And like everybody went, oh, that's nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
Some people didn't even acknowledge it, you know?
Didn't even
The
know.
amount of people that I've talked to today that still don't know about the Tic Tac is unbelievable.
Yeah.
That was on the mainstream news. That's been seen
Mainstream news.
numerous times on the mainstream news now.
Absolutely.
It's been the government have told us they don't know what it is.
Yeah,
The military have told us they don't know what it is. Yeah, I get it. The military probably do have secrets. They do have,
of course they do.
secret programs within the military. Yeah,
Yes.
but still, it's still very strange that that's in our mainstream and people are still not accepting it. Basically, they're still it's like,
Yeah.
ah.
Yeah, yeah. It's going to take like the war of the worlds for people to finally get it, right? To
Yeah,
finally some aliens come down and start sucking people up into their ships
yeah,
and, just destruction. And
yeah.
then people go, oh my God.
You'll still get some people go, oh, I've still got to go to work. I'm going to be late. I'll see you in a bit. I ain't got time for this now. I've got the school run.
I gotta go. I got a big paper that I gotta finish at work today. Come on, get out
But
of
that's
my
the
way.
thing. People are so busy, like work,
Don't
everything.
know.
They just, it's like, oh, I haven't got time for aliens. I get it.
Don't know. I don't know. Hey, I got something for you.
Hmm.
If that's okay.
Yeah,
Not
absolutely,
to
man.
steal your thunder, brother.
Absolutely.
Um, People have brought up a theory that the wireless signals that we use for our computers and stuff like that are
Hmm.
destroying spirits, ghosts, whatever you want to say. That the
Ooh,
signals themselves are, that's why you don't hear a lot anymore of certain ghosts, or you hear like, certain areas where the ghosts are not used to be. So I use in America, there's this called the Velisca Axe Murder House.
yeah,
Okay.
I heard of
That's
that. Is that
where,
in
yep,
Iowa?
that's in Iowa, correct.
Yeah.
And I've had people on who have gone there to investigate because you can go there and investigate. People love you there. You can go do the tour. I've done it a couple of times. I didn't investigate, but I went on the tour. It's great.
Hmm.
Well, it used to be that people, every time they went in that house, Tommy, they would see something, feel something, hear something all the time. Now they say it's almost what, which is kind of funny, is it's dead. Like when I had the paranormal investigators go in there, she told me, John, it felt like it was dead. Like it was like the spirits either have moved on or something's blocking them. And then she said, I was looking around and in the house and around the area, they have cell phone towers, excuse me,
Hmm.
Wi-Fi in the house. That's the farmhouse that's right next to the ex murder house. And she goes, I think there's something to that. Like all these Wi-Fi signals and cell signals that are going in the air constantly and bombarding us, right? Are
Yeah.
destroying the spirits because they're on a frequency too, and they
Yeah.
have energies. What do you think about that? Do
That
you do
is
you think
very
that's?
interesting.
I don't know if you've heard that, or
I've
maybe
not
maybe
I've
we can
not
get a
heard
guest
that.
on.
Yeah, I've not heard that. But it's very
Yeah,
interesting. And it kind of makes a lot of sense in so many ways because you look at the going back to the government and the mainstream, it does kind of seem like they don't want the average person to be spiritual, to sort of see the
yes,
world in a spiritual way. They want us to keep us in our box,
yes,
working our
yep,
9 to 5s, don't think too much. Just pay your taxes and get on with life. That seems to be
yeah,
like the general.
yeah,
So they don't want us communicating maybe with our spiritual side. So that makes sense in
yeah,
that sense. Also, as well, when you look at like paranormal teams that go out investigating, how often do you hear that the battery was drained on the device? That we had full batteries and all of a sudden they were all dead. You know, these
Right.
things seem to be able to interact
Hmm.
with our technology, and it does
Yeah.
maybe does affect them, and maybe that is what it is. Maybe that is people say that these things are like these entities are like turning the equipment off. Maybe there
Yes.
is something going on there where their energy's being taken and it's affecting our equipment as well. That's a very
Right.
interesting theory, man. That I've not
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
seen, but I
Because
think it's
again,
interesting.
yeah, because every day we're being bombarded by these signals.
Yeah.
I have like two or three cell phone towers near where I live.
Mm-hmm.
And I notice a difference. You do notice a difference in that area.
Mm-hmm.
There just seems to be, I don't know, like I wouldn't say like plants don't grow or anything like that, but it just seems like there's so much energy and so much draining that
Yeah.
anything in that area seems to be just sucked up.
Yeah.
And
Because
I don't know.
we can't see Wi-Fi, obviously, but we know it's there
No,
and we
but
know
we
it's
know it's
powerful
there.
because of what we're
Yeah,
doing right now.
yeah,
It's so powerful and it's everywhere. And we don't really know. I'm sure some people might know, some of the high ups, whoever they are, how it's affecting us. It
yeah.
might be affect. I know I don't want to get dark, but it might be affecting us all in a negative way, and we can't really escape that now. You know, that
Yep.
Wi-Fi and it's only growing. It's only going to get bigger. It's only going to get more, and it's
Right.
everywhere. And we rely on it now. You know, we can't. The world without Wi-Fi now would just stop because we all
Yeah,
rely on it so much with everything.
yeah,
So it's a very interesting theory, man.
yeah, yeah. I would love. There's been certain studies dedicated to it, but nothing
Hmm. And they
too
won't tell
hard
us.
data.
They
And
won't
they
tell
won't tell
us.
us anyway,
Yeah.
because because if that's true, and you
Hmm.
say that, there's gonna be a lot of people pissed off. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Absolutely.
A
Would you,
lot of people
would,
angry.
do you remember when the 5G was first being rolled out?
Yep.
I mean, that was a wild time. You know, obviously we had 4G, we've had 3G, and eventually we're going to have 6G, 7G, whatever. But when
Ugh.
5G was being rolled out, the conspiracies were flying. You know, you were getting the guys that worked on the 5G that were like building the towers and stuff saying, guys, this is not good. You know, we're all going to be fried. And I know a lot of it may be conspiracies, and some people say, who knows?
Yeah.
But there
Yeah.
does seem to be something to it, man. And they wouldn't
Yeah.
tell us if it's going to affect us all in a negative way.
No.
We're not going to know, not for
No.
hundreds of years when they're talking about it on podcasts,
Yeah.
talking
Right.
about our era. Like, oh
Yeah.
man,
Exactly. Exactly.
2020, what a wild time.
It is wild. Totally wild.
Interesting theory though, man. Very.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look into that a little more.
Yeah. Please do. Yeah. That'd be a good subject.
Yeah, I've got to ask you. I know we're coming to the end of our time. I love talking to you, man. I've got to talk to you about
Thank you.
cryptids and the Beast of Bray Road is a very famous cryptid that's on your doorstep. Have you got any? Have you heard anyone that's seen anything like that, or spoke to anyone that's seen anything like that in your area? And what do you know about the
Yeah.
Beast of Bray Road?
Yeah. So the Beast of Bray Road, folks, is basically a werewolf. To put it easily so people can wrap their mind around it. Has been around since the 1930s where it's been spotted. I spoke to some people. I'm trying to get some of them on the show where they have found like fur uh, on different trees, on different branches when they're in that area. Have heard howls and stuff. Now, here's the thing: in northern Wisconsin, the wolves were extinct. Then we said no more hunting. Let's bring the wolves back. And now they're exploding, and now we got to hunt them again, which is stupid. Like, how did we get there? Anyway, so a lot of people are saying now that, well, it's just wolf. Wolf is going through there. However, there's been certain footprints, there's certain howls, and wolves are typically in packs while they're finding these areas where they find the tufts of fur, or whatever you want to say, like single furs. And everybody's like, well, it wouldn't be single, it'd be a number of different furs or different packs where you would see the footprints and everything, and they're only seeing one. And there, even though people say, well, there's a lone wolf, that's kind of that's not right. Because if it's a lone wolf, that means it's kicked out of the pack. That means it's probably going to die, because wolves hunt in packs, and it's the only way they survive. Okay, that's not me. That's just nature and experts telling me this. So I've had people tell me that they've heard howls, they've heard different things in that area. They've been in those woods hunting and have felt watched. And this has been going on, like I said, since the 1930s, where people have said this. Now, the other thing we had, where one of my friends, we have a goat man. So there's this goat man on the road. Basically, it's, well, half goat, half man, if you would call it a man. And people go down this road in Wisconsin where this thing lives. And every time they come down this road, they feel somebody's watching them. They hear like different noises and so on and so forth. So her quick story was, when she was younger, she got her friends together. They wanted to go down this road, and they went down the road. And when she was going down this road and they stopped and, do the dumb thing, they got out of their car and was trying to search for this thing. They heard rustling in the bushes and everything. And they're like, oh, it's probably a deer or whatever. But then they heard like this kind of grunting noise, like a goat might make. And they're like, okay, that's really weird. And then all of a sudden, it felt like it was something was just coming through the bushes fast at them. So they screamed and ran and got in their car. And she said when she was looking in the rear view mirror, she could see something like an animal chasing them. And she was not sure if it was the goat man or whatever, but she sure said felt like it. And it was this furry kind of beast on. She said it was upright. So she said it wasn't a deer, wasn't a bear. Bears are not going to chase you. Deer's not going to chase you, unless maybe under strange circumstances, but typically not. So
Hmm.
anyway, it was going through there, and she said she felt freaked out and everything. There's other stories where people who have had roadkill, because we have a job is basically you drive around to pick up the roadkill and throw it in your truck. One story where this, and I don't know why this person would make this up, because they're not going to make money and they're not going to get anything from it other than, oh, that's a weird story.
Hmm.
So they were driving one night and they were picking up deer carcasses. Unfortunately, in Wisconsin, you hit a deer, your car is totaled, and it's bad in Wisconsin. We have a lot of deer that run in front of your car. Anyway, so while he was doing this and he was picking it up, he started to drive away, and suddenly something jumped into the back of his pickup truck, and he's like, "What the hell?" And he heard, like, again, kind of some weird growling goat noises, something. And when he looked back, he saw the goat man. He saw it grab this deer carcass and jump out. And
Whoa.
this guy is just a regular guy like you and me. He has nothing to gain from this. He has, why would you say that? Because your buddies are probably going to give you a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
And he's to this day, he sticks to his story. And he said he doesn't drive down that road anymore. He won't do it. And he just says in that area, people have seen it numerous, numerous times. So, yeah, I think that's two of the big cryptids we have here, as well as we do have a dog man that's in Michigan, but it's for whatever reason it's come here once in a
Mhm.
while. So those are kind of our big three that
Mhm.
we have here. We also have sea serpents, by the way, in our lakes, which are kind of funny. Like people just treat them like they're pets. I don't get that. Like there's like this one called like Pooley or something, and it's in this one lake, and people are like, "Oh, hey, it's Pooley." And they have like these goofy toys where you can take your kids to get a Pooley doll, and they have a little thing Pooley. It's really goofy. And then my favorite, which is not a true cryptid, which this I think I told you about this before, but I'll just repeat myself. The hodag. Okay, so the hodag is a cryptid. It is fake, people. Everybody knows it's fake.
Are you
It was
sure?
done by, well, here's the thing. Okay, I know it's for sure that it's fake. The reason why, because it was a con man back in the 1800s who made this thing out of paper mache and everything like that. And people, family members throughout the time have said, yeah, he was just trying to get people. It's a wacky story. Please cover it. These guys go in, get it out of a cave, right? What do? They throw dynamite in this cave. Dynamite. Like, get out this thing up. It's silly. Like, what? You have a bunch of guys with dynamite? And they all have rifles and everything. And there's a picture of it. Now, whether it's real or not, it doesn't matter because guess what? In Rhinelander, Wisconsin, they have taken over this. The Hodag is the mascot for their high school team. They have
Wow.
Hodag Days where they have a concert where they bring some of the best like country music artists to this place. They have a Hodag store. The Hodag is everywhere. They got statues everywhere. They've totally embraced it. Hodag Days. It's really fun. If you live in the area, you can go to this concert. It's a great concert, great party, and they just love it. They just love the thing. And it's really bizarre because it's just like everyone knows it's fake. And even if it wasn't fake, no one's scared of it. No one
Mhm.
fears it. Everyone's just like, this is the coolest thing ever. Let's have the whole day. So
Yeah.
it's pretty fun.
I
It's a
mean,
pretty
for
cool
anyone
thing.
that hasn't seen the Hodag, it's kind of like it looks like kind of like a
Yeah.
dragon mixed with a lion, like a dog. Like
Yeah.
it's a wild cryptid, wild creature.
Yeah.
If you ran into it, you would be worried. That's for
You
sure.
would be worried if you ran into it. Yes, you'd be very
Yeah.
scared.
That's wild, man. So
Yeah, yeah.
what are your ultimate thoughts on cryptids and things like that? What do you think they are? I know again,
I
I know that's difficult because we don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I think some are mutations,
Hmm.
that something went wrong. Like, whether you want to say a science experiment, I don't know. Sure. Also, I think some were aliens that were left behind. Also, I think just mutations. Like we do have mutations in the animal world. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like look at the platypus. It's
Hmm.
part duck and it's part beaver or something. I don't know
Yeah.
what the hell it is.
Yeah.
It's weird, right? It's like whatever. And then mutations within, certain lizards and everything. There's the Komodo dragon. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's a
Hmm.
scary thing. And certain alligators and crocodiles and so on and so forth are very scary, very fearsome creatures, and they mutated throughout the years. So that's what I think some of them are. Some
Hmm.
of them are mutated creatures. Some I do think maybe a science experiment went wrong because there have been numerous times that they have talked about the military trying to breed animals with humans and try to create like a dog soldier, like a literal dog soldier, and make it human like that it can talk and walk and fight.
Hmm.
And you've heard these stories and you're like, huh, okay, that's kind of cool, interesting. But what if one of these things escaped? What would it do? Right? It would scare the crap out of you. If I saw a big, like, German Shepherd dog soldier running around, holy crap, that's scary. And it would be scared too because it's like, it's been, I don't know, mutated and whatever. So that's what I think it is, kind of a combination of things.
Hmm.
And I always tell people I hope they never capture Bigfoot, and the reason why, because if they did, what's the first thing we're gonna do? Dissect it,
Hmm.
right? We're not gonna let it go. We're not gonna just hang out and try to get to know it. No, what are we gonna do? We're gonna put it in a cage. We're
Hmm.
gonna dissect it. We're gonna try to figure out what it is, and leave it alone. Leave it
Hmm.
alone. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, yes, there are reports that it's hurt people and scared people. It's so bears, and we're not, freaking out and start, dissecting bears and killing bears. So I hope none of these cryptids are ever captured because let's put it that way. They would bury it deep somewhere, and maybe they have. There
Hmm.
are stories about that where they have caught cryptids, and they're somewhere in a government facility, um, trapped. And I don't know. I think
Hmm.
that's terrible. That's
Yeah.
just me.
Yeah, man. Have you had any Bigfoot friends that have seen Bigfoot in your area?
Yeah, so I had one guy I had on, which is a really interesting story where they were out camping up in northern Wisconsin and they were just getting, having a couple brews and, pints, whatever, and hanging out. and they heard this really weird like howl, like and they're like, "Oh, it's a wolf," and they're like, "That's not a wolf. That's what is that? I don't know." And they kept hearing it, and they were like, "Okay." And then he said they saw a weird like UFO fly over there, where they're like they didn't know what it was, and this thing kept howling, and then it kind of quieted down, and they could just feel like something's weird going in that area. And when they went in that area, when they went camping, they kind of saw some like broken branches and some weird footprints, big footprints. And again, they felt something was watching them from the woods. They thought that he had seen something in the woods, looking through the woods at them. Looked like a bear, but they weren't sure what it was. But he said it was just really weird, the howl and the unified flying object, and like the weird footprints and broken branches and stuff. Like something big was there,
Hmm.
something gigantic. We have the bears we have in Wisconsin are black bears. They get about the size of a big dog, so it's not like that.
Hmm.
Everybody knows it's not like that. So we don't get anything like grizzlies or brown bears or anything like that. Nothing that big.
Hmm.
So
Interesting.
interesting.
Very
Yeah.
interesting. Man, interesting stuff, brother. John,
Thank you.
I have absolutely loved talking to you tonight, man. And
Thank you.
I'd you're always welcome on. Love to get you back on. Yeah, I know you've got so
Yes.
many accounts that you can share, and it's super interesting stuff, man. You give me some stuff to think about as well with the
Yeah.
tonight, and really enjoy talking to you, man. Can you tell
Same
the
here.
listeners where they can find you and your awesome show?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's dairylandfrights.com. You can find me at all your special sites, Spotify, YouTube, Apple. I'm everywhere and anywhere. And you can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on X, Twitter. I always say, please share your stories if you can. Also, share anything that might happen to you that if you want to be a guest, please, I'd love to have you on guests and stuff. Same with, Tommy here too. When we love people who are experts in a field that maybe we can talk about. Is Wi-Fi signals causing ghosts to disappear? Is Bigfoot ever going to be captured? Do we think the witches are good or bad? I don't know. And I think I love that. So
Hmm.
anytime you can do that, it's a weekly podcast. We come out Sunday afternoon. Please listen to us and rate, subscribe, comment. Even if you say it sucks, that's okay. Say it sucks.
No, no, you're not allowed to say
Tell
that.
Tommy. You have to answer to Tommy then
Five
too.
stars only, and a
Yes, five
nice
stars
comment.
only, please.
Yeah.
5 stars only.
You're a legend, brother. Thank you so much, man.
Thank
Let's
you.
do this again soon. And yeah,
Let's
everyone
do
needs to
this.
check out your show because it's absolutely awesome. And you're an awesome dude. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, brother.
Thank you. Have a good one, Tommy.
Guys,
See ya.
thank you so much for listening. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, share it where you can. That is a great way to support the podcast. And we'll be back very soon for more freaky conversations. In the meantime, stay safe and keep it freaky. Bye for now.
All
Thank
right.
you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Talk